Alright, everyone, welcome back to another Automotive Anatomy Watch and Talk. So, today we're going to be discussing something that I usually stay away from just because it's really like, I wouldn't say controversial, but then people, I guess it would be controversial. Like the whole politically correct um, when it comes to just different topics. And the reason why I'm bringing it up today is because in the last one of the last interviews, there was a comment that I made about the gentleman, the one that I was interviewing was like, once you go black, and there was like this awkward silence. So I wanted to be funny and said, your credit goes bad, and somebody took it the wrong way and was very descriptive and share his point of view on the reason why he was offended. He was like, my credit score is really good. Check yourself, boss. And then he replied to himself, I'm going to share this clip. And then he replied to himself, you just lost a subscriber. Well, look, bottom line is this. Um, my jokes are not going to be something that is going to be to everyone's liking. That's just facts. Um, I try to be funny as much as I can in a respectful manner. By the way, I do apologize. There's watermarks all over the screen. Um, but I try to be funny in a respectful manner, but I don't try to be rude with anybody or alienize anybody. But ultimately, my goal for me is to be able to entertain. And once you entertain somebody, you have to be okay with the positiveness and the negativeness of it. Bottom line is, yeah, I can see how that comment can be disrespectful, or someone can take it in a negative manner. But I did have a lot of people who send me DMs and messages like, "Hey, man, like you're not gonna keep everybody happy. Just do you." And I mean, you guys know where I stand and a lot of my views, and I'm very open minded. I'm very like, um, I do understand that people have feelings, and I'm not the type of person who's just gonna be like completely like, I don't give a, and just continue with my life. I definitely don't want that to be the culture that we create, and that's the reason why I kind of wanted to address this, man. It's just I don't look. Bottom line is, one of the things is that whenever I'm on the mic, if that's I'm walking through the junkyard, if I'm walking through a car meet, if whatever the case may be, if I'm interviewing somebody, there's things that you say that you don't think about in that moment, right? Afterwards, you're like, damn, I said that. For the most part, I try to keep it positive so that way I don't run into those issues where when I'm editing, I don't edit something that may be disrespectful to somebody. And maybe it's because somebody else said it. Again, I always try to keep things positive because I do understand that a lot of my jokes are not going to be to everyone's liking, and so I don't want to feel like I don't want anybody to feel like every time they come to watch my videos they feel attacked. I talk so much smack on Civic and Integris, but you guys know at the end of the day, so love. I really really like Civics and Integris. I've had a couple DMs and messages about like, hey man, like what's the deal with Civics? Like, do you not like them? Like I actually do, but it's to me it's fun, and I guess just me being a player hater that they have way more aftermarket support, and that's the reason why. As you guys will notice, I only show 3 wheels because the fourth one, I think I got so much water on the screen that it was not even worth showing. But I clean all 4 wheels before somebody starts saying, "Hey, what happened to the other wheel?" And so I get that my jokes are not going to be the best ones for everyone, um, and I don't want anybody to feel like they can't make a comment about it. I think that it's healthy. It's healthy for me to understand that, hey, like someone can take offense to it. Because just because it doesn't apply to you doesn't mean it's not going to apply to somebody else, and you have to be able to be okay that the fact that you are putting yourself out there, and there are going to be different 101 different personalities that may or may not agree with your point of view. um, I don't want to get into the whole I'm right, you're wrong, because I think there's a legitimate point from both sides. You can be 100% right in your own opinion, because you have a different view on life or because you have a different upbringing, and I respect that. Um, and I have a different one because obviously my own backgrounds. But the ultimate goal for me is to not disrespect the audience that we are creating. I think we are creating a very good set of audience with different personalities, and the last thing I want is for people to be rude towards me or towards other people in the comment section. I think that we want to be able to build and create a positive, um, you know, sense of community. That's the word that I was looking for. So, um, anyway, so as you guys can see, it's really hot today on the video. This was the second car that I was watching that day. It was Jackie in the first one, and it was gloomy. And of course, as you guys know, once I start getting things ready to go into a car wash, then the whole sun comes out. And so it was a pretty gloomy morning, but you know. Um, I don't know. I think in the whole politically correctness stuff, there's obviously gonna be it's open to interpretation, and I think my ultimate goal is just to entertain in a funny way, um, while sharing some life experiences, and so it comes down to that. It comes down to I've always been the class clown, all through my middle school and high school days. They used to move me a lot because I would always be cracking jokes. I would always be, you have to read the room, right? I mean, there was times that I was trying to be funny and people would be like, "You're not funny at all, man." Like, and it happens. It happens. That's just part of trying to be funny. Not everyone's gonna like the jokes or the message that you trying to say, but then once in a while you say something hilarious and everybody laughs and you're like, yay. Um, but yeah, man, that's always been my personality. It's funny enough. I went out to dinner with on a double date with Raul, one of the guys that I interviewed with. He's DA, and he's like, "Why do you always talk smack?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. Like, I know my personality is not for everybody. Like, it really isn't." And I have gotten into different issues because of it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like I mentioned in another Watch and Talk, there's people that don't like me because that's my personality. The thing with me is I am a person who loves to make fun of people, and I'll tell you to your face, not behind them. That's my personality. I can also take it. You make fun of me and you find something that's hilarious. Oh man, especially if it's funny, I'll give somebody props. I'll just laugh it off too. I'll be like, damn, he got me. But better believe that if I find something that is hilarious, I'm gonna get back at you. And I think there's a few people that have been able to hold it down, and I really appreciate their friendship because of it. At the top of my head is Brandon from We Have Shit Up. Like me and him are always talking smack. The only time he couldn't handle it was when I was making fun of his Eagles and they were losing, and I knew he couldn't handle it because he was like, "I don't want to talk about this anymore." And then he spelled my whole name. He never spells my whole name, so I was like, "Okay, he's mad." My buddy Alan with the CB7, man, we're always talking smack, man. Like me and him, we're always going at it, and so it's cool. Now I have come into some other friendships that we started like that. You're gonna bash me, I'm gonna bash you back, and then all of a sudden, you hit me with, "Hey, bro, like don't mess around with that." That to me, it's like, then why would you even mess up? Why would you even? And I'll give you as an example. I know that moms are out of the ordinary. We don't mess with family. We don't mess with moms. If I know that somebody has disease in your family, I'm not gonna be making fun of you on that note, whatever the case may be. But I remember like there was this guy that I was, we were always dissing each other, and the reason why I started dissing him was because he started with me. I was like, okay, cool. You kind of read the room, and he felt comfortable to make fun of me about certain things, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll take it. And I guess he attended a soccer game, and these two nationalities, they've always had like a rivalry with Mexicans, So obviously it was in Mexico. I'm Mexican, and I made a comment to him. I sent him a DM. He attended the game, and I said, "Wow, what a waste of space. Two horrible teams from two horrible nationalities. Like I'd rather watch my local JV and sophomore team play against each other." and he responded with like, "Hey, don't mess around with nationalities. Like that's definitely something I don't disrespect anybody." And I was like, "What in the world?" After, I mean, keep in mind, like me and this dude, we definitely went at it, and I was like, I didn't feel like arguing or anything. I just like, oh, okay, um, and I just said, oh, okay, no worries, type of, you know, that's it. Like to me, that's it. So he noticed that I didn't mess around with him no more. And then a couple of days later, I post, I think it was a picture of Rosie, and he left a message, something along the lines on something that you can see it like, oh, well, where do you keep putting your trash ass builds, like I don't remember what the whole. And he left a comment like that, and then somebody else was like, ha ha ha, and then this fool, went and left another negative comment like that. I didn't respond. I didn't say anything, you know. And then I posted something on my story, and sure enough, he responded to me like, "Oh, what a trash is this?" And all I responded was like, "Hey, man, I feel like if you're not gonna take criticism or jokes in a healthy manner, you probably shouldn't mess with me." And that's all it took. After that, like we haven't really, I still follow him. He helped me out, but that was it. Like to me, I'm a very black or white type of personality. That's not good, man. Like I cannot do the gray area. I cannot do the play the game. I cannot do the we don't really like each other, but we keep it cool type of. I don't do. It bugs me. Like it's hard for me to do that. So when somebody cannot take my jokes and they tell me like, "Hey, that was out of line," I let them know like, "Hey, okay, from this point on, like, don't mess around with me, because it's just not." I hate feeling like I want to be the punching bag, right? Like you can punch as much as you want, and as soon as I say something, that you're not gonna handle it. And I've experienced it with all these other individuals who are always making jokes, and as soon as I come back at them, man, like you can tell like they stop talking to me. It's like, what happened? You can dish it, but you can't take it. And so it goes back to the whole politically correctness, right? Like I try to make jokes, like with my buddy Isaac. He knows it's all love. Like today, I spoke with him for about an hour. He's the one that runs the old school Honda page, and I always say, when I go to the junkyard, am I at a junkyard or at a old school Honda meet? Or when I go to his meet, I'm like, am I at the junkyard? I don't remember paying $3 to get in. Things like that. And he'll laugh. He's like, that's gacho, man. That's messed up. But it's all love. And me and him, we always make fun of each other. But I've told him, I said, hey, like, if you're gonna dish it, you better take it, because that's just my personality. I don't get upset, man. If somebody gets me, if somebody burns me, I'm all for it. Um, but I think I'm also very confident about myself, my verbal skills, that I'm like, I'm gonna get you back. Just wait on it, And not right now. You got me on this one, but I'm gonna get you back until, again, I've been able to, been on certain, situations where, damn, like somebody comes at me with like, hey man, like that was very disrespectful. It's like, oh boy, here we go. And so that's why I always kind of wait for somebody who tries to be friendly or whatever you want to call it, and I tell them like, hey man, like just letting you know. I have said in the past, like, hey, just letting you know, if you're gonna take it, like, better, if you're gonna give it, you better take it. And they just kind of laugh it off. But once they laugh it off, then I'm like, okay, like, I'll wait for the next time that you come around and you try to be funny. I'll get back at you. Um, and I've had those conversations with different people. At the top of my head, I can think of one when I said, "Hey man, like I don't like when you think that it's okay to say, hey bro, like this wasn't right, or this wasn't," but then a day later you want to come out and make another joke. It's like, well, the thing is, like, like you say stuff and I don't know if it's true or not. Like, what's a joke? I'm that type. That's my personality. I joke, and some people can't take it. No problem. But why is it that I'm having to have this conversation with you when you seem to be okay with making jokes about either my build, my personality, my jokes, whatever? And I think that's what it is. I mean, I don't know if you guys are like that. I don't know if you guys know people like that. And so, tying it with the whole politically correctness, I think some people are okay with, I watch the show The Office, and I love The Office. I mean, that show would not survive in today's climate. And I'm gonna be honest with you, not necessarily that it's a good or a bad thing. Again, I'm all for open mindedness. I'm all for, people feeling a certain way. I am all for that. But I'm also for freedom of speech. I'm also for, I am a strong believer that you are gonna, you should be able to create something that is fun to you. I think YouTube has allowed that platform, um, to be able to do that. Podcast has allowed you to create something that, it can be as politically or as non-politically correct as you want, or something as harsh or not harsh. If you want to make jokes about certain things, that's 100% on you, and you have the right, and I think you should have the right to listen to whatever you want. My only concern is I hope you listen to things that are positive. And what I mean by positive, I mean you can make something funny out of a very tragic thing. That's called dark humor, and some people love dark humor. And if that's what it is, I mean, even politics, if you want to be all into the conspiracies or whatever the case may be, then if that brings you joy, cool. That's not my thing. Not because I don't agree with the messages, or I do agree with the messages. It's just that's not what I'm choosing to listen to. I can listen to news that are gonna um, you know uh, I guess strengthen my beliefs, but I choose not to. I just look. I don't. The news to me is just something I don't even want to engage, and I go about doing my own thing. And so I think that now with these other platforms, we do have that freedom of speech. Something like The Office, I wouldn't go um, so well nowadays. But I personally love The Office. I think it's hilarious. Some episodes are kind of really cringy, but I personally love it. And some people don't, and so that's okay. Like I don't think that every show has to be someone's cup of tea. Um, but I think that you should have the right to either watch it or not watch it. That's just ultimately the message. And so the way I kind of want to tie this whole conversation is that to that gentleman that felt offended by the comment that I made, in no way did I mean it in a negative, disrespectful way. It is a negative stereotype. It is offensive, but it was meant to be more of a joke, not something that I strongly believe, or that I'm so 100% assertive about it. Like, no, that's just my dark humor. That's just my personality. And again, I get it. I'm on a camera. I'm on video. Like, I try to hold it back. I try to kick back. I try to restrain myself. I don't say everything that I think, because if I did, like, I'm gonna offend somebody in one way, or shape, or form. Eventually, it's not whether if, it's just when or how. And so, you know, I don't ever want to start creating this community of automotive anatomy to a whole bunch of people that are just so disrespectful. In fact, when you guys see a comment that you guys may or may disagree, um, there's no reason why you should fight fire with fire. Like, I think that everybody has the right to their opinion, and they should. I'm actually glad these gentlemen left a comment like that, because it allows me to understand, like, hey, maybe I did lose a subscriber, maybe I don't lose a subscriber, but what is the image, or what is the message that I'm sending out to somebody? And it could be that this guy was someone who just subscribed a week ago and didn't know my attitude, or maybe for the last 2 years, and every single time he kept getting upset until he finally said, I've had it, I'm gonna comment and I'm gonna unsubscribe. I've told you guys before, please unsubscribe the moment that these videos do not bring any value to you. Like, I'm super for that. You guys know that this is more of a creative project for me, and an outlet for me to share my opinions, my ideas, and stories, things that happen to me. It's more like a diary, because believe it or not, I go back and listen to myself on Watching Talks. That's the reason why I do them. I watch my own videos of me walking around the meets. And I definitely for sure go back and watch some of the interviews, because I think it's funny. there's times that I'm cracking up, and I'm like, I'm a dumbass, like I made that own joke and I'm laughing about it. And that's, I think, when you're having fun, that's when you're really enjoying what you're doing. Um, if you don't watch it, then don't expect anybody else to watch it. So ultimately, I'm doing this for me, and I do thank all of you guys for being part of that journey. Don't think that I by no means think like, I don't care, whatever. No, I do care. That's why I'm addressing this. I think that, to that gentleman or to anybody else, um, I'll try to watch what I say, but just letting you know, like, my personality is of that dark humor, and sometimes it gets into trouble, so you gotta get better at it. But I definitely appreciate you guys' time. I thank you. These watching talks are amazing, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.